Liv Morgan breaks silence with brutal injury update following Elimination Chamber. Liv Morgan came up just short in the Women's Elimination Chamber match last night. However, it seems that she will be remembering many of those bumps in the weeks to come. The former Women's World Champion took a lot of bumps against the steel structure throughout the chamber match and was left bleeding and covered in welts after Bianca Belair whipped her with her braid. Morgan broke her online silence and shared an image on her ex-FGay Twitter account today that showed the majority of her bruises from last night. Her arms looked like they had taken the brunt of the damage. Morgan doesn't appear to have suffered any serious injuries during the match, but the bruises and marks can be clearly seen, despite her captioning her update as "Wrestling with a Heart." Morgan appears to be content with her performance despite the loss, and remains one half of the women's tag team champions along with Raquel Rodriguez. What's next for Liv Morgan on WWE Raw? Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the women's tag team champions, and are expected to be pushed ahead of WrestleMania 41. The two women no longer have distractions from outside of their titles, and with everything going on in the Judgment Day, they could just split before WWE lands in Las Vegas in April. Morgan doesn't appear to have suffered any serious injuries during the match, but the bruises and marks can be clearly seen, despite her captioning her update as "Wrestling with a Heart." Morgan appears to be content with her performance despite the loss, and remains one half of the women's tag team champions along with Raquel Rodriguez. What's next for Liv Morgan on WWE Raw? Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the women's tag team champions, and are expected to be pushed ahead of WrestleMania 41. The two women no longer have distractions from outside of their titles, and with everything going on in the Judgment Day, they could just split before WWE lands in Las Vegas in April. The two main women's division matches for WrestleMania 41 have already been decided. This means that Morgan's only hope of a match will be defending her title with Raquel if the Judgment Day members can hold on to the gold until then. Liv Morgan is likely going to be part of WWE Raw tomorrow night, but the former Women's World Champion isn't expected to wrestle after enduring the Elimination Chamber only 48 hours before the red brand. Instead, it could be that Morgan is there as part of a backstage segment to prolong the story between herself and Finn Balor as the Judgment Day continues to crumble. Liv Morgan sends a 3-word message to Rhea Ripley after she loses her title on RAW. Liv Morgan couldn't hide her delight at Rhea Ripley losing her Women's World Championship on WWE Raw. Io Sky won the title in the main event of the show, confirming she will enter WrestleMania 41 as the champion. There is no love lost between Ripley and Morgan, who were locked in an intense feud for 6 months. The Judgment Day member rubbed Mommy's defeat in her face, posting multiple tweets about Sky dethroning her. She laughed at the situation, and her latest post was a striking message directed at the Eradicator. Taking to her official X/Twitter handle, Liv Morgan posted a photo of her kissing the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship to celebrate the fact that she has a title while Rhea Ripley doesn't. Morgan teamed with Raquel Rodriguez to win the titles from Bianca Belair and Naomi on Raw last week. Mommy was distraught after losing her women's world title, cutting an emotional backstage promo following Raw. Her WrestleMania 41 status is now in doubt, with Bianca Belair set to challenge Io Sky. It remains to be seen if Ripley is added to the match, considering the EST of WWE got involved in her title defense on Monday. Triple H makes a surprising statement on Liv Morgan's spot in WWE. The WWE Universe may have a love-hate relationship with Liv Morgan, but the Judgment Day's 5'3" brawler has become a well-respected talent in the ring and on the mic. Despite the improvements, the current women's tag team champion still has her detractors, but now Triple H is weighing in. The Miracle Kid began the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour in 2024 after returning from a months-long injury hiatus at Royal Rumble. She dethroned Becky Lynch as Women's World Champion at King and Queen of the Ring, then retained in the Steel Cage rematch 2 nights later. Liv humbled Rhea Ripley while joining the Judgment Day and has been on a hot streak ever since. Triple H previously praised Morgan's Elimination Chamber performance during the post-show press conference, noting how she continues to impress and has become more than a megastar since last May. The chief content officer continued the adulation by touting Morgan's in-ring work, declaring she has earned her spot as one of the best in-ring workers of the women's division. Even when she's in pain, She looks like she is having the moment of her life.
Liv Morgan WWE injury update following RW between the two, Tiffany and Rhea. I think I'd rather see Rhea because she and Rhea had such an incredible match 2 years ago. They haven't had a match like that in women's division that I've seen on TV anywhere. Rhea won the match, but it was the best match on the show. It was incredible. Following a bloody match on WWE Monday Night Raw, a new report has revealed an injury update on Liv Morgan. On the February 10th edition of WWE Raw, damaged CTRL's Io Sky and Dakota Kai defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day. During the course of the bout, Morgan suffered an apparent injury where she came up bleeding after a knee from Sky. Later in the program, Morgan was sporting a big bruise on her face during a backstage segment after the tag team bout. Fightful Select, subscription required, provided an update, noting that word backstage was Liv Morgan appeared to be okay, but may need stitches. The report reads, Liv Morgan got busted open by a knee, but word backstage was that she appeared to be okay, but may need stitches. Morgan will face Bianca Belair, Bayley, and 3 other participants in the Women's Elimination Chamber match at the titular event on March 1st. Kairi Sane sends a message to Liv Morgan. WWE star shares brutal fallout of serious injury. WWE superstar Kairi Sane recently took to social media to send a message to former Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. The Judgment Day star suffered a brutal injury on this week's Monday Night Raw during the latest episode of the Red Brand. Liv Morgan teamed up with Raquel Rodriguez to face damage CTRL's Io Sky and Dakota Kai. All of the women involved in the bout put on an amazing display, but the match ultimately ended in Sky and Kai's favor. However, during the bout, Morgan suffered a brutal injury near her eye and started bleeding heavily. Following the show, the Judgment Day star had to get several stitches to close up her wound. She recently took to X/Twitter to show off her injury. This post caught Kairi Sane's attention, and she uploaded a photo of a similar eye injury that she had suffered in September last year while competing against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. The Damage Control member also sent a message to Morgan with several emojis. Former WWE writer reacted to Liv Morgan's brutal injury on Raw. During a recent edition of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, former WWE writer Vince Russo reacted to Liv Morgan's brutal eye injury, saying that he believed she was extremely tough for a person of her stature. Did you see that nasty gash on Liv Morgan's eye, man? Wow, she is tough. I gotta give you that, man. That was a nasty gash on her eye. Did you see how that happened, Chris? I wasn't watching closely enough. I mean, she had like a boxer's cut. I mean, wow. She is tough, man. Liv Morgan is tough for a girl her size, and that was nasty. Liv Morgan has qualified for this year's Women's Elimination Chamber match. It will be interesting to see what WWE has planned for the Judgment Day star's future. Liv Morgan smiles through the pain after suffering a nasty cut on WWE Raw. It was a rough night for Liv Morgan Monday on Raw, who suffered both insult and injury. In a tag team match pitting her and Raquel Rodriguez against Io Sky and Dakota Kai of Damage Control, Morgan was pinned by Sky. But before that, she suffered a gnarly cut just over her right eye during the final minutes of the match. Rodriguez and Morgan paired up for some unique tandem offense. Rodriguez scooped Morgan up as if she was going to powerbomb her. Instead, she used Morgan as a weapon, swinging her body into the ribs of Sky, then Kai. Morgan's injury appeared to occur right after she collided with Sky. However, she started holding her face after hitting Dakota later. After Morgan blasted Kai with Oblivion, Sky plowed through her with a running knee lift. That incapacitated Morgan for several moments, who was briefly checked on by the referee. Ultimately, Sky put Morgan down for the 3 count with her signature moonsault. Despite the grisly nature of her injury, Morgan was all smiles afterward. "Io, you could never make me ugly," said the former women's world champ in a video she shared to X along with pictures of her cut. Although she and Rodriguez lost, they still have a title match coming with reigning women's tag team champions Bianca Belair and Naomi. Most of all, Morgan still has the